asking for direction, and I think Director Sangster and Director Beatty are providing the direction that they would like to see.
Okay.
So if there's other direction, then we need to get that direction so we can make the changes so that this can move forward and be approved at some point.
If you think it might just have a never-ending cycle of coming back, which is what it feels like, I would highly recommend that you adopt the base fire code at a minimum so that you are in compliance with the most up-to-date state codes. And then we can bring back the more stringent standards for the discussion to continue for as long as it needs to. But right now, you are out of legal compliance with the state, and their codes have updated significantly enough, especially the wildland interface section, that at a minimum, if you adopt the state codes, it would reduce your liability.
But that is through the local ordinance, so.
Well, they would have to adopt it without all your red lines changes that you put in more stringent standards. They just adopt without the more stringent standards.
It's hard to define what's more stringent than,
It is not hard to define what is more stringent. You are required to tell the state what more stringent standards you're putting in, so you can absolutely separate them.
I would say maybe
It's just the new ones, the new more stringent standards.
maybe 8 might be the only one, but everything else is just a continued definition. It's an extended definition of what's already in the code. It's nothing that we're making up. It's based on living, breathing examples that happen in the community. That's all it is. I'm not saying we're tightening the grip on this. It's already happened. We're just trying to prevent it from happening again. The 25% drywall thing might be more stringent, but the other items, 5, 6, 7, are just more definitions of what has occurred and what is already living and breathing in the fire code without pulling out specific pages and pages and volumes of fire code.
I understand what you're saying, but to council's point, if we can pass it without those changes and at least be compliant, we would be compliant.
If you pass it without the red line, then without any red line, then the wildland urban interface code is not included.
It's not without any red line. I'm suggesting that it be passed without the additions that do not already exist in what is required under the fire code, which includes the wildland interface. So we could literally bring an ordinance that says we adopt the 2025 state fire code and this wildland interface section. And you could leave it at that and have nothing more. That would then get rid of all the additional things that you have put into place up to this point that exist in your 2023 ordinance, and I would not recommend you do that because they are directly tied to this community and its needs. But if you don't like the additions that are not specifically, if they're already in the state code, they're already in there. They don't need to be in here. And it is more of a liability to keep kicking this damn can down the road than to adopt it now without the discretionary additions that exist in here right now.
I agree. I really don't want to see it come back to us.
So my suggestion would be to adopt it as written, less section 7C 5 through 8. If those are indeed things that the fire chief thinks should be in there, then we can bring it back to further discuss those individually in adding those back in. But in order to move this along and get as many things as are currently seem uncontested, that would make the most sense.
But you have different opinions of the board. You have one director who's in favor of removing 5 through 8. You have one director who's in favor of modifying 5 and removing 8. You have one director who read the whole thing and doesn't like it at all. And then you have one director who's in favor of it. So you have 4 different opinions. And you're basing your decision on one director's opinion. So collectively, you have to make some sort of decision.
I think council idea is good. Let's go ahead and pass the ordinance, state we're legal with the state, with their regulations and everything, and then that'll get the district out of should be what we need, right?
That makes no sense to me. I apologize for my ignorance, but that makes no sense to me because how do we perform a fire life safety inspection? Everything is based on our local ordinance. So how are we supposed to move forward with plan review when we just say, okay, we have the 2022 fire code, or the 2025 fire code, 2025 violated interface code, and we abandon everything else that we've had in place since the beginning of our code adoption cycles?
That was not my recommendation.
What about Kelly?
That's what it sounded like to me.
My recommendation was to adopt the minimum and reject anything new discretionary that you added in because they don't like it. I'm also all for Kelly's that you just get rid of 5 through 8 since that is what seems to be the issue, and you've already stated that it is already included in the state code and you are just providing more notice to the public. Well, if it's already included, it's already a requirement. They don't like the language in the ordinance. It doesn't need to be there.
Your opinion versus the others.
This is my legal opinion.
I think Kelly's idea is a good one.
Will you revive that motion?
You know,
I'll make that motion.
I'd second it.
It was to,
what is the motion exactly?
Kelly, would you restate that so we'll understand?
So what I was restating was what Ashley's original motion was, which was to adopt as written minus section 7C 5 through 8.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Oh, yeah. So we have first and a
is that
second.
what you understood it to be? We
Yeah.
restate it. Okay, so we have a first, we have a second.
Okay.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Director Smiley.
Yes.
Director Beatty.
Yes.
Director Davis.
No,
Director Sangster.
Yes.
So it passes 3-1.
So to be clear, we're 3-1, and we are just removing 5 through 8 of section 7, correct?
7C.
17.
7C 5 through 8.
7 Charlie.
Oh, thank you.
7 jar. Hey.
Okay. Thank you
We're
very
done.
much.
Thank you. Moving on.
Sure story.
Everything was.
7-1.
Go check. Not yet. We will.
Fireworks has to go through 2 more times.
well, I know that, but it was down, it was in that,
It has to be voted on later on.
yeah, I seen that.
If we did pass it, it's in the previous.
She might need to come back.
What?
You want to jump? one?
Yeah, if we could.
She's dealing with the situation on that.
Okay.
Well, we're at county organization, so we'll come back to her when she.
Yeah, okay. How about community service organizations? Are there any community service organizations?
I think she's just probably,
Yes.
he's got a community services not showed up.
Yeah.
I'll just, Kathy with San Diego Senior Center. We've been having our Still Our Meals program, and there's several of our participants in that want to add another day to it. So we're going to talk with the Meals That Connect and see if we can add a Friday. And we are, are having, more activities. This weekend, we're having a scrapbooker group come in for 2 days. It's National Scrapbooking Month. And so we're having a lot more community wanting to do activities here. And, we're working with an organization that provides grants for music, and if we have like a meal, and they would pay for sort of band to come in and work with them. That way they're more, music is always good. It helps everyone.
Heal the soul. Heal the soul.
Yes. So that's kind of what, we're still doing our bingo. We'll start it again in June. We just had one in May because of the holiday. And so that's going well. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Captain.
Do we have Camp Robbins? No. Okay, we have staff and committee reports.
Public comment.
Oh, we all one time, those people.
You want to go along sometime?
No, we do, but we haven't got to the sheriff's yet, so,
We can do public comment for all of it.
okay,
And if she comes back, she comes back.
perfect. General manager's report.
The only thing I have tonight is that we still need Director Sangster and Director Davis to finish your training. I believe you need fiscal and financial training, and Director Davis needs all of this training.
It's new.
Yeah,
It's a new requirement,
it's a new one.
the fiscal and
Please,
financial training.
please talk to Tamara so you can get that.
Check your emails, I've been sending some, tells you how to do it.
I already checked it, I was gonna get a hold of you.
Are you sure? Gotta see me.
I'll do it soon.
Yes, it needs to be done.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have.
2 more hours out of your life.
There's nothing for me tonight.
We need board comment or questions on the general manager's report or the non-council report?
No.
Okay. How about the director of utilities report?
You have my report as submitted. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments from the board? Okay.
I got one, because it has to do with the lighting.
Sure.
Okay, and I think you were given like $80-something thousand for the design of those. Have you ever thought about just checking with PG&E
Checking with them for what?
for the lights, street lights?
We can go through a similar process and they can put up streetlights like the ones that are in the alleys on posts. They won't put in regular streetlights.
Well, I know that, but what I'm saying, I mean, there's a lot of posts around that work really good. You know, that if there was a street light on them.
So where we're asking, or where we're putting streetlights is where there's not posts.
Oh.
Down Mission Street at intersections that don't currently have
Yeah.
posts.
Okay. I just wondered, because I know that
Yeah,
they would do it.
and that was discussed before.
All right. Okay, fire chief's report. Fire chief is coming back.
Fire Chief report. She'll be on. Fire Chief's report. Good evening. Again, board. Sorry for my delay. Fire Chief's report is submitted as written with a couple small caveats. And I'll be quick. See if I find my notes here. Okay, that's not it. As of June 1st, the San Miguel Community Service District will receive the benefit of an improved ISO rating. Our previous ISO rating was 33X, so with work with ISO and Kelly, myself, we were able to improve the district's rating to a 2.2X. So citizens of San Miguel should be able to maintain their homeowners insurance and hopefully get a reduction in cost. So that's a good thing. And I received this a little late, so it didn't make it onto the fire chief's report, but June 1st and June 2nd, 13th Street will be closed. So at Mission Street, they're gonna do some paving improvements. And June 1st and 2nd, 10th Street will be closed at 10th and Mission and 10th and K for some road improvements. And on June 3rd, Mission Street will be closed at 13th and 12th for more road improvements. Other than that, we have to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay, we'll go back to San Luis Obispo County Organization reports.
Jumping back to you.
You're on.
Distracted with that.
Yes.
Good evening. Stats for last month are as follows. We have today 144 calls for service where we were at 126 at the end of April last year. We've taken a total of 23 reports, whereas at this time last year we were at 20. Last month we took 2 reports for assault and battery, 2 reports for disturbance, but we did have 17 calls for service. We took a report for burglary, 2 for theft, 1 for vandalism, 1 for suspicious circumstances, and no reports of trespassing or scams. I was wondering if the weather will deter cruise night, but we're going to try to have a unit out here for cruise night. And I want to thank Chief Young. He's been very receptive and communicative and working well with my deputies to make sure these the complaints of vehicles being parked and or abandoned or just being a nuisance, especially when they're not in our jurisdiction. He's been working very well with Pacific Railroad and Union Pacific, and they also have been very helpful with all the things that we need here so that people can be given either like a notice or a warning, and it seems like that seems to be very helpful. So yeah, whenever he needs the help, make sure a deputy is available so that we can get that going. Other than that, that's it, unless there's any questions for me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, that happened out there. That happened out there.
Yes, I think there's a couple might get along. The puppies didn't like it.
All right, do you have any public comment for any of the non-district or district reports? No? All right. We'll move on to the consent calendar. I don't know if any of the directors have anything they would like to discuss, or if we have a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Any public comment before a motion?
Yeah.
I got one question. On item 4, weren't we already doing that?
Each time that we have an election, we have to elect to do that.
Yeah, right. I mean, we already.
That's what we normally do, so this isn't any different, but every
Yeah,
time we have an
right.
election, we have
That's what I thought. I thought we were already doing it.
Paperwork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah.
No issue, nobody wants to pull anything? No. Okay. Is there any public comment on the items that are on the consent calendar? There is not. Motion to approve items on the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion by Director Sangster, second by Director Davis.
Director Beatty?
Yes.
Director Davis?
Yes.
Director Smiley?
Yes.
Director Sangster?
Yes.
Passes 4-0, 1 day. Paperwork.
Okay, we'll move on to board action items. We've already taken care of item number 1, so move on to number 2. Review the annual increase to San Miguel garbage residential commercial rates for fiscal year 2026-27 by the non-seasonally adjusted consumer price index for 12 months ending in April, which is 3.7%, to be effective July 1st, 2026, as previously approved through the Proposition 218 protest hearing held July 2025.
So this item is a continuation from the hearing in last year. Board asked to have the increases brought back, which is what this is. Last year they approved a 9.3, or this board approved a 9.3% increase for fiscal year 25-26, and CPI increases for subsequent years through 2029-30. And as you stated, the CPI increase for the 12 months ending in April is 3.7%. That is what San Miguel Garbage is asking for. And in your packet, there is the resolution from the Proposition 218, as well as the proposed rate increase. Mr. Cashin would have been here tonight, but it conflicts with his son's baccalaureate. He's graduating. So sorry he can't be here, but that was, family comes first, so. So again, we're just asking for the board to approve resolution authorizing the increase for all solid waste rates from Sandy Garden Garbage by 3.7%, as shown in the attached rate schedule.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board?
None for me.
It's not an increase of 9.3, it's an increase of 3.7.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Misunderstood you.
No, last year it was 9.3%.
Yeah.
This year it's 3.7%.
There are no other comments or questions from the board. Do we have any public comment on this item? No? All right. Would you like to make a motion?
I move to adopt.
I'll second it.
So motion by Director Smiley, second by Director Beatty. Roll call, please.
Director Smiley.
Yes.
Director Davis.
Yes.
Director Beatty.
Yes.
Director Sangster.
Yes.
Passes 4-0 with one vacancy.
Item number 3, monthly claim detailed investment reports for April 2026.
You guys have the financial reports for April 2026. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Comments or questions from the board?
No, I think we're good.
None.
Do you have any public comment on this item? No? All right.
So this is just receive and file by consensus.
I agree.
I agree.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, draft fiscal year 2026-27 district operation and maintenance budget, capital improvement project budget. Yes.
So this item is a presentation of the proposed 2026-27 budget for operations, maintenance, and capital improvements. Purpose of this is to provide the board an opportunity to provide comments to staff to make changes if you so choose. In the report, we show what the current 2025-26 budget performance is through the end of April 2026 and the proposed 2026-27 budget for each department. And at the bottom, the totals for the entire district for 25-26 through the end of April and the proposed budget for 26-27. Overall, the revenues for the district are on track for meeting or exceeding the proposed revenues for 25-26, and we're currently at about 50% in total for the district for expenses. That's primarily due to the large amount that was budgeted for the wastewater treatment plant that hasn't been realized yet. But overall, each department is on track for staying within their overall budget. The 26-27 draft budget is showing a net $1,084 overall between all departments. All departments are within their revenues. So no department is working really in a deficit. Starting at page 166, you can see the budget listed out by line item. If the board has any specific questions, we can discuss those. If not, this would be brought back in June for formal approval.
I know in previous years we've done like a budget workshop. We're not doing those these days, or
We can do those again if you would like. We haven't had that request for a few years, so.
yeah. But I found it valuable and interesting to see exactly how we're coming up with a budget, and give us a bit more opportunity to take a deeper dive into, the line-by-line portion of it. If there are other directions we find that valuable or not.
Like that, where we just had a workshop and budget these numbers. Have a chance to go through those part of the meeting. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
So at this point, if we want to do a budget workshop, it would have to be a special meeting. We do have to adopt a budget by July 1st or adopt a resolution extending this budget by July 1st. So if that's something that the board wants, then we can try to put something together for that. If there's specific concerns, then we can discuss those specific concerns. I do realize that we do have a lot of line items for each department, so it can be kind of daunting.
I would be in favor of it. Anyone else is.
I would.
It would be just me.
I think it'd be beneficial.
Alternatively, if you want to come meet with me, we can discuss it that way too.
Yeah.
But not all of you.
But not all
Yeah,
of
not all of
us.
You would not have the benefit of each other.
Well, I mean, you could have the benefit of one friend.
Anybody in favor of a workshop?
Yes. Wouldn't we be able to, you could get us all this information ahead of time, the numbers and so on.
Well, I would need to know what information you want.
I want to know everything all about all the money.
Well, that's a lot of information, Dr. Davis.
So it sounds like a workshop would be beneficial.
Yeah, right.
You could discuss the items.
Right.
Line by line.
So there's two options. If you come and talk to me, we can go through individual things much more deeply than I can at a workshop. At a workshop, we can give you much more generalized information, but if you want to know specific things, I'm not going to be able to look up everything that went into that line item at the workshop necessarily.
I think having us together is a benefit because
No, I agree.
they may think of something that I don't, vice versa.
Maybe the workshop would be what would generally be presented as the budget that they're approving, but it's a workshop to go through it first, so that you're getting all the questions out of the way and any additional information they need for the actual approval at the June meeting.
Yep.
A lot of times they ask questions and for information we can't give right then, and then you've got to adapt. So workshop would.
If that would be what the board would like to do, we can arrange that. That might be the simplest thing to do.
I'm in favor of it.
I am too.
Okay.
So the request is for a workshop at the June 24th or 25th meeting?
No special meeting for a workshop.
I was just saying, when we,
No, that way they're ready to adopt at the June meeting.
Yeah.
We need to be the
Go quicker, just should already have all the information, all the questions answered. And if it's a special meeting, we only talk about the budget.
So really the only time we'll be able to do that is June 10th. Because I will be on vacation after that until the next meeting.
Okay.
It was a Wednesday.
Or June 10th or 11th, I guess. I did check that June 10th is available. That's what I asked for.
Yes. Everybody get your phones out. Ready? Get your phones out. We don't usually like them, but get them out.
June 10th. Meeting during the day.
We can do 10th or 11th.
Yeah, Wednesday the 17th.
Want to shoot for 11th?
I'm
We
good
should
on
confirm the
still
seniors
Thursday?
available, right?
I'm good on 11th.
The 11th available?
Evening?
Yeah, it'll be at 6 o'clock.
Yes, that's fine.
So the 10th or 11th.
Keep it a Thursday and do it on the 11th.
That's what the board would like. I can do that.
That's, after that.
Fine.
How are you, Rod?
11th, I'm free.
10 to 11?
Free the 11th?
No, 10th, I'm tied up. I've got a board meeting.
So
11th.
The 11th is.
June 11th at 6 p.m.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. Now, put it on
If you have any specific information you would want to see or specific questions, feel free to give me a call or come down and see me, email me or text me, send a carrier pigeon, whatever.
I'll do
Smoke
that.
signal. I'm taking.
Okay.
No smoke signal inside.
No spokes.
Do we want public comment before we move on?
Do we public comment on this item? We do not. Okay, move on to the next.
I got a question. This workshop now, is it gonna be open to the public?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanna know. Thank you.
Okay. Item number 5, local agency formation commission, LAFCO, alternate board of directors runoff election.
So this is being brought back, brought again, I guess, for the nomination of, or a vote for, to fill the open seat on the LAFCO board. Essentially, they didn't get enough votes to meet their quorum of 18 votes. So the two that did get votes are being presented for a vote by this district. Mr. Davis from our district and John Joyce from the Como Community Services District are the two that are eligible. So if the board so chooses, they can vote for Director Davis or Director Joyce, and we will submit a vote. Alternatively, if the board does not want to nominate or vote for either, then we will just report that we are not voting for either.
Board comment questions?
Oh, and you want to do it?
Yeah.